Let's see. We're going to go in and start figuring out the arms. Something I'm going to do, because this thing here is a little bit screwed because of something I didn't orient the joints and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do, because that whole little flicking thing, you're going to see it freaking out. You see in the earlier videos, see where it turns into this. Okay. And I don't want to have to backtrack too much, so I'm just going to do a quick solution to this. I'm just going to take this off for this one here. I'm just going to go and take this, and I'm going to go and hit delete selected, and that didn't work, so I'm going to go and hit break connection. There we go, it's gone. Okay, so then I don't have to worry about this. There's an orientation with a joint problem. I should have zeroed them out, but I didn't. Anyway, so that's going to solve that arm problem. And I could have just gone and switched it to FK, but I figured that one there, if that one's giving me an issue, I'll just see if I can solve it. And later on, if I need to twist it or anything, I could just animate that manually. Anyway, over here, I'm just going to pull down this arm. Okay, we're going to be on frame 1, and I'm going to pull it down something like this, and I'm going to rotate it. Personally, this rig here for the arm is okay. I think I used this kind of mentality when I was a student, but I've got these other great ideas, but they're just too many to show you right now, so I have to deal with this, and it feels a little bit atavistic. Okay, so this leg is coming forward, and that means this arm goes back. And you also notice that the elbow here is being controlled a little bit. We're just gonna, don't want to pop the IK on it either. I want to go something like this. Great. The elbow is being controlled by this thing. I'm just going to pull this back here someplace, and I'll say that's where I want it for this one. Okay, we're just walking with it, so I'm not going to have to worry about it too much. And also, if I just take this, twist the arm over a little bit. Also, too, the fingers. This is not a really good pose to have your hand in as a default pose. You can get away with a lot if you just pose your hand in a very relaxed way. So if I go and I do this, take my little mid finger and do something like this, and something like that. Okay, so I got some kind of gradual thing like this. If you take a look when your hand is relaxed, a lot of the times it looks something like this. And you can get away with a lot with that. And just a spread. Let's bring the spread in a little bit. There we go. And you know, you don't have to have all these set driven keys. You can just manually keyframe those joints if you wanted to, but that's good enough. And so we got something like this. And what do we got? Have the arm something like this. Great. And so we're on frame 1. I'm just going to go and hit S. I'm going to go to the last frame and hit S. I'm going to go to the mid frame here, or frame 13 rather. And I'm going to take this and pull it forward, something like that. Let's just straighten that out a little bit. See, I have this really great rig where I don't have to go in and rotate that wrist quite as often, because you actually look at your wrist, it only rotates about 15 degrees, but right now I have to do these crazy rotations on it. Okay, and I'll do something like this, S. Let's just take a look and see what that looks like. Now, right here, what we're getting is this typical problem with FK animation, or not FK, IK animation, is people just going to go straight spot to spot. They don't look at what's going on in between, right? And as it's coming in, like this, there should be a little bit of slope to it. And without getting too crazy in the graph editor, I could probably solve it in the graph editor, but I think I'm just going to do it here. Blast in a bunch of keyframes. So we got this. Okay, and as it's going back, same thing. Make sure it's swinging. And let's just take a look at that. Okay, so that's giving me a bit more of a swing. I've still got it. I've got some more other stuff to do to it, but get the basic idea. The other thing too is that as it's, in this case, swinging forward, I can go in and make it look like it's dragging a little bit. So I'll do something like this. And again, these are things I can settle down later on. And as it's going back here, we'll hang it back a little bit. And actually now I'm starting to not like how the wrist is rotated. I think it should be something like this overall. But if I do that, I mean, I'll do it in the graph editor, see what it looks like. And I've got some, looks like popping IK right here. It's too straight. But if I was looking at the rotate X value here, let's just go and hit F. And you can see here there's little burps in it too, so I want to go in here and figure these things out. Make that nice and curved, and these ones here I'm just going to go hit that flat button so that eases in and out. Okay. My rotate X, my rotate Y. Boop. This one here, I'll just flatten that out, and I'm just going to grab that. And, I got kind of an okay arc, but not really. Okay, that's better. And let's go and find my rotate Z. And there's a burp. And I'll just kind of fix that. Okay. And so that's getting rid of any of those arcs in the wrists or any pops or anything. I'm just going to take a look at the translates as well. Boop. And I don't see any real burps in here. I'm just going to grab these keyframes and these ones here, and I want them to ease into each other, so I'll do something like that. And then this one here, I could go in and... That's a translate Z, so that's as going forward and back. Okay, and... Yeah, these other ones seem to... Well, actually, the translate Y... Okay, it's going in, it's getting a nice little arc. That's okay. And... Am I getting a popping IK from that? So if I find the translate Y, if I just move that up a little bit, so you got a bit more of a bent arm. There we go. So you see I moved the whole thing overall. It's awesome. And the translate X, okay, that's its side-to-side movement. Is it not? Actually, that's world coordinates. That's not local. And if I was on local, it would look, oh, I can't tell because of that. Well, actually, let's just take this, and if I want to take a look and see what it's looking like locally, if I go to Object, you'll see here it's actually the Y-axis is the one that's kind of going in and out here. And if I was to take a look here at this frame, it's there. Okay, so that's the front of it. Back end. So maybe when it's here, I could kind of pull it out a bit more. So it looks like it actually can get through this. And okay, boop. And I'll do the same thing here, pull it out a bit more so it's going around the body. Okay, great. And that's working out for me. What time are we at? 7:50. Okay, great. Any other things I want to swing into it? I can put the fingers in. I can also do a little bit of things like, as well as when the arm is coming back here, I go like this and make it drag from here, and that'll look a bit better potentially. And the same thing here is going forward. Boop. So you can see how that's looking. Okay, and again that's exaggerated, so I could settle that down and everything will look better. It looks like he's doing a left-hand turn. I'm going to do the same thing on the other arm. I'm just thinking of you could copy the keyframes over, but it's probably just easier to do it again from scratch. And let's take a look at this. Okay, and you may want to make sure that you're shrugging a little bit. Okay, these little clavicles in here do a lot of work in your shoulders, just give them a little bit of extra, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Just that little bit of extra something in your shoulders, something else that's coming from your body that you might not notice. And so I'm just going to go in here and I'll do a little bit of that, and I'm going to hit S, and if I hit S on this thing right here, I might notice that I have a bunch of freaking translates and scales and stuff that I don't need. So I'm just going to go in here and delete select to get rid of those keyframes, and I'm going to go and lock and hide those things. Great, so we're just dealing with just rotations. Okay, so that rotation there is the same as this one over here, and I go to 13, and I'm going to go and do something like this. You know what? I'm really rusty at this stuff. I haven't done this in a while. Let's see. As we're going... Let's see. As we're looking at the arm here, if we're going forward, it might go down a bit, I think, according to the Richard Williams Animator Survival Kit. And then if I'm going here and I'm going back, I might go up a little bit. So I'll do something like that and see what that looks like. Okay, so I got a little bit more clavicle in there, moving the shoulder a little bit more. Okay, and that puts us to 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop. There's one arm.